Oh, I must be Ark here, talking to you about a few issues. I'm trying out my new cell phone here, and I don't have one of the accounts on here, one of my YouTube accounts that I share with my partner Kenny Jackson. So this show actually is for our channel, the What's Your Opinion show, but I'm going to do it on the light grid, and then I'll figure out how to transfer it over tomorrow over there. But yeah, I was just going to talk about what a week it's been. Again, in the United States, more crazy bullshit. Uh, oh man, unbelievable, unbelievable. It's going to be interesting to see where we go the next 6 months, the next year. There's so many. I know, you could say that like at any point in time, but like right now, there's so many different directions and so many parallel realities that we could head down, that we could go down. In the politics for the first time. Like, well, it always has, and people should have been aware of this, but the politics affects everything and everybody in America, and it also affects everybody in the world because they're wondering what in the fuck we're up to. They're wondering what in the fuck what our problem is over here, and they think we've lost our fucking mind. When really, I don't know. It seems like it's about only 30 to 40% that have really lost their mind, then another 20% that don't really care, and then 40% that really do care. So, um, I mean, I get tired of talking about it. I get tired of talking about the issue, the Russian issue, the hacks going on. That still, I was reading an article today that they have found the Russians trying to get into some county elections in Florida, and they're always going to be able to do that. Like I said, the Russians are the best spies in the world. They've got the bots to do that. That's why I think everybody should go to an Oregon paper ballot and mail it in, you know, an Oregon mail-in ballot, and have those, if there's any discrepancy, have them hand counted. So that gets rid of the hacking right there, and of course that gets rid of a lot of other issues like voter displacement and people having to wait in line for hours upon hours, mostly in minority neighborhoods, but even in white areas, a couple hours. Minority neighborhood, you might have to wait 5 6 hours in line to vote, 9 hours in line, in some elections. So it's just important to get out there and do that and vote. That sounds so cliche, but really there's never been a more important time, because we got to take back the Congress, because they're gonna nominate another Supreme Court judge and push him through. They've already got the votes to do it. I know the Democrats are trying to fight it off, but they're gonna get him through. And when the shit hits the fan about Trump being able to be indicted or not as a sitting president, then it's going to go to the Supreme Court. Unless one of those other judges rank ranks, this new guy that Trump nominated, Kavanaugh, he does not believe in presidents being able to be prosecuted. He did when Bill Clinton, though, was president, but then he said that changed his mind about the whole thing, that it's a distraction. Of course, how convenient. Um, when his party's in power, yeah, that's, how convenient of him to do that. But so that's what we got going on, basically, people. It's important to take back the House, and it's possible to take back the Senate. I mean, get out there and let's get a blue wave going. Seriously. I mean, I know like people that want to vote third party and all that, but vote progressive. Vote, and progressives are winning in primaries against a lot of Democrats around the country. So it's really exciting. We've got a lot of people that are not taking PAC money that are winning. I mean, it's kind of like a revolution starting, and let's keep it going. And also I wanted to mention too, I wonder if people heard on the news today, that little coward Nunes, who I think he's going to lose his reelection this fall. a Republican from California, which, they're kind of a dying breed in most parts of California, Republicans. But this is the guy that, remember the guy that hustled those documents over to the White House to let him know about something that the FBI was looking into on him about a year ago. And this is the guy that's been trying to get Mueller impeached and Rod Rosenstein impeached, Miller's boss. And they wouldn't let the Democrats on the House Intelligence Committee ask certain questions, which Miller, I'm sure, has since asked to these witnesses. But these people are in it knee deep. Well, he was caught on tape today saying the conundrum that they're in, that it's a must that they win the House, because if they don't, the Republicans are basically up shit creek and there's going to be a lot of criminal charges brought. Okay. And still, where are these kids at? Where are these missing kids? Where are these missing kids not united? What's up with Donald Trump and these? They're, he sounds like all these people, and I'm glad to see Alex Jones got banned from YouTube. I don't know how I feel about that. Censorship's not really my thing, but because of what he said about Sandy Hook, hey, motherfucker, you get what you get in life. You know what I mean? You get what you give, you son of a bitch. But him talking about how Hillary and Pizzagate and all this and molesting kids and Robert Miller's and no, those kind of people like him are those kind of weirdos like him. And I wonder where Trump has trafficked these kids to. Some of these kids have been trafficked and Trump's turned a blind eye to it. And it's bullshit and it's ridiculous and it's obvious. You know what I mean? Blame the other side. Blame the other side, and yet you've got people that still believe Obama's in a bunker 2 miles from the White House. It's beyond ridiculous. And this Nunes guy, this little midget, he ought to be ridden out of town on a rail. Seriously. And I'm sure that he will be. Excuse my voice, it's hoarse. But I'm sure he will be here in a couple months. But then, what's going to happen in those couple months when he's a lame duck, though, when they still have a few weeks, before the Christmas break and Thanksgiving, of course, he'll be in there, but they'll have like a total of, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks to work with shit. So what are they going to do during that? Or is that when they're going to try to get Trump's other tax cut through that he wants to push through? Yeah, and how's that going, by the way? How's all that going? Yeah, I was wondering too. I was looking and I was on Twitter, and of course, Michael Avenatti had mentioned something, about hey, has anyone seen that check from Mexico that was going to pay for the ridiculous wall? More importantly, where are all the manufacturing and steel jobs Trump promised in Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin? Be clear, a snake oilsman sits in our White House. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. There's no reason that people that are in West Virginia though are delusional. Coal is old and gone, and they've got to quit hanging on to that idea. Okay, of ever having their coal jobs back there. Plus, they don't even do it that way. They do mostly mountaintop removal, which they need to quit. That's a whole nother bullshit issue. A friend of mine who does a show, Bob Kincaid, he talks about that a lot because he's from West Virginia, and it's a big deal to him because it's fucking poisoning that state. But there's no reason why you know, there's no reason why he can't bring some of these jobs back to Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, and Wisconsin, but not all of them. He gets people up on all, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and they get so excited and they fall into that trap of just worshiping him like a messiah, and it's like, God, that's the kind of guy you're going to pick for a messiah. But then what they don't realize is that technology has changed and evolved, and there's only so many workers that are going to be able to work at places like that. I mean, yeah, it is some jobs, but it's not like it once was. I mean, he's not going to make it like he's not going to make it like it was in the 60s and 70s, like Motown was with cars and things of that nature. He can do it close, but he doesn't have the mindset that technically jobs have changed and it's a different world now. You know what I mean? Which he should know because he's on Twitter all the time tweeting, but it's a different world now and it's more technical and those kind of things are promising those people. But Republicans forever have promised these people in the Midwest this kind of shit. And this shit, these industries have been done for about 30 years. I mean, I'm just going to face it, like timber out here in the Northwest, like big timber industries. Okay, those they don't do that here anymore. And that kind of shit isn't done in those 4 states on the level it was back then, and it never will be. Okay, I mean, that's just the bottom line of it, and people need to realize that. And of course, Democrats too in the past need to, well, I'm not going to I can't blame them really because in those states, they've tried to produce legislations and stuff that have offered alternative job sourcing, alternative schooling, alternative whatever for some of the different kind of career fields for these workers that have worked in these areas that are no longer or not as much needed due to our technology. Okay, so I can't say that, but Republicans come in and will promise that they're going to build it all up again, and they don't. And I mean, I've seen it happen since 1980, since Ronald Reagan, and I was 5 years old and knew better then. But people will, and what they don't get though too is it's not even about them being a Trump supporter. If they had, I don't understand what they don't get about the fact that their fucking field that they work in is not, it's not what it, I mean, it wasn't, it's not what it was. It hasn't been what it was for 30 years and there's no future in it. I mean, it makes me want to tell them to all, go to barber college. There's other things. And, and what about these farmers have to be real happy with Trump's tariffs. Of course, he tried buying them off a little bit, but I mean, man, I don't know. The guy's Looney Tunes. It'll be interesting to see where we go with it. It's all about what Mueller's got on him, how big it is. I think he'd be more likely to resign than he would be impeached. That'd take a lot. Um, but who knows? We'll see. We'll see who runs for president in 2020. We won't know, like I said, till next year. Bernie, maybe. He's getting older, though. I don't know, man. I don't know about Bernie. Yeah, Bernie would need a strong vice. You got Gillibrand out there. You got Harris. I don't know, man. If a year goes by and it's still kind of stagnant like this, I'd like to see one of them maybe be the vice president, but I don't know. Then it'll be a year-long fucking primary. So, but I don't know. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind personally. If shit keeps going the way it's gone for him, I personally wouldn't mind seeing Michael Avenatti throw his name in there. Yeah, you know, he's been right on a lot of things. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to rant on all that and try my new phone out here. And like I said, this is meant for the What's Your Opinion channel. I just don't have it on this phone yet. I only have the ones that are the ones that that I had specifically created, not been invited to. So, but yeah, people just stay strong and stay focused, stay vigilant in the U.S. These next 6 months, okay? Seriously, and afterward, if we get hearings and shit going, stay vigilant. Stay very vigilant and be nice to one another. There's no reason to be a racist prick. There's no reason to show your racism because you're going to get it right back. We're not fucking around anymore, and I mean that. I wouldn't put up with it, and people aren't going to put up with it. These white people that feel emboldened to be racist because of Trump, it seems like it's increasing all the time. But those people are going to be humiliated, called out, filmed and shit, put all over social media so their employer can see. Let's see, let's see, let's see how many times that needs to happen. An endless amount for me. I could care less. You can't sit across the table from people like that. There's those once in a million situations where we can work it out. No, we really, it's not. It's a racial thing with them. It's an ideological thing with Republicans, with right wing thinking people. It's about they don't want God. They talk about how they want the real small government. Although they have these big these big tax cuts they just did that got the wealthy so much wealthier. But no, their history is they're against government right in your life, except in the case of if you want to put a drug in your body, if you want to have an abortion, if you want to have certain kinds of sex, if you want to have a certain kind of partner, if you don't want to follow a certain kind of religion, then they want to be really in your life, then they really care. They care a lot. They care to legislate laws of morality instead of getting the fuck out of your life. That's their problem. Is their only problem is get the fuck out of people's lives. Quit being judgmental. Mind your business. Quit gossiping. Quit being racist. Quit screwing around. Leave people alone. You know what I mean? Quit calling free healthcare socialism and free college socialism. Guess what? It's coming. Get ready for it. Get ready for it. And it's cheaper. It's cheaper over 10 years to cover every man, woman, and child with Medicare in this country than it is the way we do it now. By a couple of million, they figured it out. It turned out by a couple million, it's cheaper. And even if it isn't, so what? It should be done anyway. And those things are going to happen. And I hope that we take a step forward further and provide free. Big Pharma isn't going to like this because they're going to want to cut in on it. They're going to want to at least sell drugs at a local level for cheaper. But fuck, get rid of the middleman. Get rid of them. Have the drugs come from a government supplier. You know what I mean? And it's just crazy. The Republicans would like to see just everything corporate ran. Nothing, nothing maintained, no order, nothing, just corporate run amok with no regulations. The government is about the people. The people should be involved, and more people are getting involved. And it's a good thing on every level because it is our government. It isn't that it's just this some corrupt Illuminati deep fucking state bullshit. Alex Jones deep state. I mean, yes, has the FBI and CIA been corrupt? Yes. Do I trust them a lot more than the KGB or Russia over the years? Yes. Maybe that's just because I'm an American, but I don't think so completely. But I mean, that's like where I was all like with Edward Snowden. My thing with Snowden was like, okay, the guy to me is not a hero or a criminal. The guy should be let back in America and no charges brought against him. But he really, to anybody that was awoke, he wasn't telling anybody anything we did that if you'd had half a brain you didn't already know. I mean, Christ, I'm not trying to compare fucking movies because I'm not really, I don't even watch movies, but I mean, I think Enemy of the State came out before that shit, and you see the way they follow fucking Will Smith around. Shit, if they could do that in a movie, think about it. And that was then. That was we're talking getting into 20 years ago, and that was what they were willing to show. Can you imagine? Can you imagine what they could? Everything. They This is what they really could do if they were really worried about you, like in America, NASA. They could find your residence by Google, which anybody could with Google Earth. They could hone in on your house. They could shoot rays into your house that would not just be like infrared watching, you know, there's people in there, but it's infrared. It would form an actual camera view. Yeah, Microsoft had the technology and they weren't allowed to put it on the market, but I mean, they could just beam down and do that if they wanted to. I mean, that's been there forever. I mean, I'm sure that they've been able to do that since probably the 1970s, maybe, I mean, so it wasn't that big of a deal to me. I mean, it was all around the time that Assange was coming out too, as Bush was leaving office with, too little, too late, all this shit. I knew he was a fuckwad back then, even though I hated George W. Bush, of course, but I thought Assange was a phony and a fuckwad, and uh, well, I turned out to be right. You know, he's a card-carrying white nationalist, Russian lover. I won't say that. That sounds so bad, a Russian lover, but he's a Soviet kind of a, mentality, kind of, Southern people have it here too. But with that, I'm going to quit ranting. Um, I just wanted to, talk to everybody and touch base. And I got this phone now, so I can have people call in, do a show, or people call in instead of, I understand. I tried to do the other show, and some people have a little bit of trouble with getting, if they don't have Google Chrome, they have trouble getting in the room and stuff. But anyway, all in good time. Everything works out. All in good time. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and end the show. Thanks.